Hey everybody, this is Gokai Spartan. I'm just giving y'all guys another update on my Shattered Grid Redux project and all other projects that are currently going on and future projects. So far, I've just posted episode 2. It is already up, so watch it, like, comment, subscribe. More or less, I'm going to continue to make Power Rangers content. Probably make another version. I have something in the works called Power Rangers Alternate. Basically, with this new project that's coming out, it's going to be continuations from where each of the Power Ranger series left off, or different takes on them. Whatever the case may be, it's going to be various different teams. Like probably a different generation of Samurai Ranger might take the mantle, or perhaps like I might want to incorporate some of the stories from the Boom Studios comic books that haven't been made, such as like Astronomer's Trial. There was Astronomer has a trial scene, so I might do that as well. There's so many ways I can go about it, because there's either stuff that I can use from the Boom Studios comic books. I can make up my own storylines with these characters, and Power Rangers Alternate is going to be that, essentially. But now for Shattered Grid, this episode, I was debating on where I wanted to start it. Whether I wanted to start it in the coinless universe and get an idea of how that group is going, or whether I wanted to start it in the Mighty Morphin universe. In my opinion, it just made the most sense to start it in the Mighty Morphin universe, due to the fact that that's where everything takes place. Now, this version of the Mighty Morphin universe, like I said, this work isn't necessarily canon, because I'm not Saban, I'm not Hasbro, I'm not none of this. I'm me. I'm Gokai Spartan. So this is kind of my own universe, my own retelling of the Power Rangers. Whereas, like, you're gonna see weird things, because I like things and I throw little Easter eggs in my video. Like, you might see characters wearing certain clothing, you might see like certain things in the background, and I'll get to some of the Easter eggs as I go along explaining the process of the episode. So it takes off. I figure I start the episode with Draken speaking. That might be a pattern, it might not, I'm not entirely sure. But for the most part, Draken wants to invade this Power Rangers universe, because Draken realized he made a crucial mistake. He eradicated the power entirely. The Mighty Morphin powers are the only sets of powers that exist in the coinless universe, as of right now. In the future, after the events of Shattered Grid are said and done, who's to say? Because I do plan on touching up on the future in that universe, the coinless universe, later on, after all this is said and done. But basically right now, nobody has powers. The coinless, the closest thing to Power Ranger powers that they would have is the Ninjetti. Now, the reason why I incorporated the Ninjetti is because they're ninjas. Like, yeah, you could technically say they connected to the grid, but you could also say they're not. They don't have blasters, they don't have all the things that make a Power Ranger a Power Ranger. They're literally ninjas in every sense of the word. So it would make, and we never got to see Zach Trini in the Ninjetti suits, because they came out during the movie when Aisha, Rocky, and Adam were the Power Rangers. So I figured this would be a perfect opportunity and a great time to show alternate versions of Zach Trini, but also have it Ninjetti. Maybe the coinless are all just ninjas. Not entirely sure how I'm gonna go about that yet, but basically, the scene pans off with the monster being destroyed by the Power Rangers. Rita's incredibly upset. She's been sending monsters to destroy Power Rangers for the past year or so, and nothing's been going on. Now, she gets a phone call from a mysterious entity. She has no idea who this person is, if this person is from her universe or not. All she knows is this is a powerful looking individual that wants to destroy the Power Rangers. And Rita ain't really gonna ask too many questions, because she really wants these Power Rangers gone. Now, when I was reading the comic books, there was certain things that I took out, certain things I decided to keep in, because I'm not going to adapt everything bar by bar, if you know what I mean. What I mean basically is, this is my own telling of the story. This is my Redux. So I'm going to tell the story in a way, but it's going to be different. It's going to probably be different characters. Some of the same characters are going to be there. I know I didn't put Saba. Saba's a very important character in the character, and the truth is, I'm still working with the AI to get Saba correct, because like I don't think I put in the correct prompt or whatever, but I'm gonna put Saba in the next couple of episodes, because she's an important character in the coinless universe. But more or less, one thing I did want to incorporate, and I gotta give shout outs to my dude Comic Story, because he helps me, his videos actually help me make these videos, because he is a comic book reviewer on YouTube who reviews Marvel, DC, and various other comics. He reviewed all of the Power Rangers Shattered Grid comic book before his untimely death. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Comic Storian, man. I watched a lot of his videos. In fact, Comic Storian is one of the reasons why I can stay updated on a lot of comic books and things that happen, because he has a very intriguing voice. Like when you listen to him tell a story, it reels you in. So watching his Shattered Grid videos really helped me make with this, as well as the comic books, as well as the actual comic books. But more or less, now one thing I wanted to incorporate from that comic was Scorpina invading Tommy's home, because we've never really seen that in Power Rangers. Like, you know, like it was a scene in the comic books where Tommy was just in his room and Scorpina just appeared in him, and I thought that was metal as fuck, because I'm like, yo, like, we don't get to see that. Like, usually they get condensed to like the juice bar, or they just be outside at the park or whatever the case may be. We don't really get to see them at home. And I know I threw it the nearest Targaryen poster. You're gonna see a lot of Easter eggs, guys. I'm sorry, I'm a fan of a lot of things. So Tommy is basically sleeping, and he's having dreams about Rita. Rita's trying to manipulate him, trying to get him to be her evil Green Ranger again. And this version of Tommy doesn't want to do that. He's not like the version of the Tommy from the coinless universe. He loves his friends. He loves fighting for good. He cares about people. He's a humanitarian. Now, when the Black Dragon showed up, I had to display his power, because he is a Zord, a shape-shifting Zord that can go from different sizes. He could be as tall as the Rangers. He could be slightly taller than the Rangers, or he could be just colossal, size of a building if he wanted to be, because it's literally just a remodeled Dragon Zord. And the Power Rangers themselves probably wouldn't be able to defeat a whole humanoid Zord, because that's not how it went in the comic books. More or less, the Black Dragon gave the Power Rangers a lot of problems, and ultimately it's a little bit different, because in the comic books, Tommy and Billy are kind of inside the Black Dragon. They need to defuse it to get to the alternate universe, but I kind of want to keep the Black Dragon around as a threat, because I like his character. Like, it's a sick freaking design. I feel like I gave him a cool, slick voice. Like, you know, I voice most of these characters myself. Like, I voice, in this video, I voice Tommy, Jason, Rita, Goldar, Finster, and the Black Dragon. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I let the AI do that, because, like, I could try to do Billy if I wanted to, but I just prefer the AI to do certain characters' voices, because I feel like I could give certain emotion to certain characters, and I feel like the AI could just cover the rest for the most part. But basically, now there was a comic book where they lost their powers, and the only one that still had his powers was Tommy. He still had his Green Ranger powers, whereas the rest of them didn't. And they basically used the Black Dragon's cannon to hack into the Morphin Grid. I didn't want to go through all that, because I plan on keeping the Black Dragon around, so disposing of him so quickly, and I kind of want to get through the storyline, because I want to get to the war at some point, and there's other stories that I want to tell within the coinless universe as well. So so the second episode was going to be the episode that was going to introduce the Black Dragon, show when they became all Green Rangers, and bring Billy and Tommy into that universe with the coinless. Now, after Jason gets access to the Zords and they defeat Scorpina and Goldar, there more or less is Grace Sterling and Beatrice Gravestone. Before I get to that, let me just touch on Scorpina real quick. Now, Scorpina's monster form, I didn't like the design. It was very old-timey. It's just, I'm good on that. So, I didn't use Scorpio from Kamen Rider Force's design when I made the Galactic Crash Outs, because there was a variant of Scorpio from Q Ranger that I felt fit better in the aesthetic for the Galactic Crash Outs than the Scorpion. So when I was doing the Megazord battle, because Scorpina doesn't take her human form in her Megazord fight, she always goes into her monster form. I decided to use the Scorpion's form from Kamen Rider Force instead of the form that she has, because I really don't like the design. I'm sorry. I'm an aesthetic kind of guy. Like, there's certain, like, the villains gotta look clean. I'm sorry, they gotta look clean, bro. Like, they gotta look cool. Like, and in my opinion, the Scorpion design was cool. Now, you would think that because I like the Scorpion design from Kamen Rider Force, I would put it in the Galactic Crash House, but the truth is, I like that character Scorpio from Q Ranger more than I like the design of Kamen Rider Force. So I decided to use it for Scorpino instead. Now, back to Grace Sterling. Grace Sterling is a very important character in the Boom Studios comic books. She and her team of Rangers in 1969 was sent on a mission to the moon to stop Psycho Green from opening the casket that had Rita in it. They succeeded, but only Torona and Grace Sterling came back. They were the only ones that came back. The rest of them got smoked. The rest of them got bodied. And how they got bodied is like because I think one of them had a cracked visor in the middle, and he just couldn't breathe in space. So the point is, now they're in the Beatrice Gravestone and Grace Sterling. Grace Sterling has a organization called Prometheus. whereas they clean up after the Power Rangers battles and stuff like that. And they explained it in the comic books because one of the questions that's always gets raised is what happens after the city gets destroyed. Like, because there's a lot of collateral damage. There's laser blasts going in every direction. There's buildings being exploded, giant robots stepping on things and whatnot. So somebody has to clean all that up. That's why Prometheus exists. And like I said, Grace Sterling has connections to Zordon, but she doesn't necessarily like Zordon because of how things went on the moon and how she lost all of her comrades. That still eats at her till this day. But she respects Zordon wanting to protect the universe. She just thinks that he's a little bit misguided, and she feels as though she can do a better job. She takes an interest in Billy Cranston because he's the smart guy of the Power Rangers, and she feels like she could use him in Promethea. Perhaps Grace Sterling might want to make her own Power Rangers. We'll see. Now, Beatrice Gravestone, she's not from the Boom Studios comic books at all. She's from My Flawless Military Universe. She is a member of the Flawless Military along with her brother Dexter Gravestone. In this story, because like I said, Flawless Military takes place exactly after Cosmic Fury, so everything could like kind of group together. Like basically everything can follow a certain timeline. So Beatrice could exist and around that time with Grace Sterling because it would give her a reason. Because in the Flawless Military Universe, she and her brother are the ones who hacked the Morphin Grid, and they get the idea from Lord Draken in the events of the Shattered Grid Universe. So I have to put Beatrice there so they can see her getting the idea. Now Dexter, I don't necessarily have to put Dexter Gravestone there because, like I said, his storyline before he even does anything with the Power Rangers has to do with the SCP Foundation. So whenever I start touching on things like that, that's when we'll cover Dexter, or Beatrice might mention him in passing. Now we get to the coinless universe. It's a dystopian universe where there's a curfew at 6:30. Murder is legal. Like, people can carry firearms around, and Lord Draken has a strict thumb over everything. The city is dark, and it's completely militarized by Mastodon Black Ranger sentries that walk around with Mastodon assault rifles, and people are incredibly terrified. Now, I put a couple of Easter eggs in this shot with the coinless universe. The first one that you see is Rogexio, my all-mother goddess. However, in this universe, she's not a goddess. She's just a woman that goes to work. Whether I will... In fact, her name isn't even Rogexio because Rogexio is a nobody. Because in Kingdom Hearts, when somebody becomes a nobody, they get a recusant sigil, an X in their name, and they get a new name. That's how Rogexio's name is Rogexio. Her real name is Gloria. So Gloria, she would exist in this world, but she wouldn't be all powerful. She would just be a regular woman. Whereas another Easter egg you see was Troy. Now, you probably would recognize him because he doesn't have his outfit on. He has long hair and a white shirt. Andrew Garfield. I forgot this guy's name. The guy that plays him, but basically, yeah, he's in there. Another Easter egg I wanted to throw in there was my boy Gihan from Squid Games. It's a blink and you miss a moment. He's in the scene right after Rogexio. He's right there with Troy. And they're all running from the Black Ranger sentries. And another Easter egg I had to throw them in there was Z and Jack from Power Rangers SPD, because this storyline takes place around 2025. Because the Dragon storyline in the Coinless universe in the Boom Studios comic books takes place around the time the Boom Studios comic book came out. Seeing as this is my own version of it, it's going to take place when I'm writing it. So in Draken's universe, it's 2025 and things are a lot different. Things are a lot different in that universe. People are older. But the point is, Tommy and Billy, they make it to the universe. And they see that it's very quiet at a certain hour. And there's nothing but Mastodon sentries running the streets. And they encounter one of these Mastodon sentries. Now, one of these Mastodon sentries is Naragi from Alice in Borderlands. Naragi is an incredibly disrespectful, repugnant character who carries around an AK-47 everywhere he goes. And he used to be bullied when he was younger. Basically, that's his character. So in the Borderlands universe, he's just this rebel without a cause, where they all gotta play games to survive, but he's a very disturbed individual. And I felt like having someone like Naragi in a Black Ranger uniform, a Mastodon Sentry uniform, would showcase how far gone Draken is with these powers, because you have him, this horrible individual by every spectrum of being, as a Mastodon Sentry, someone that's not afraid to tell you how many times he's killed people and not afraid to freaking torture you. Now there's a version of Naragi that exists in Power Rangers Star Force. Like I said, it's an alternate universe, so they're different. This version of Naragi is kind of, the one in Star Force is after the events of Alice in Borderlands, where he kind of got home and stuff like that after they done teleported back. And like, if the Flawless Military existed and they were recruiting and he saw the flyer and he just decided to sign up, that's what that one. But in this universe, he's just a Mastodon Sentry. Now, I do plan on putting a lot of people as Mastodon Sentries. Thanos, for instance, from Squid Games, Ming Su, definitely, because I feel like, because like I said, I already have Thanos in Star Force, so eventually put him as a Sentry. It's gonna be just a lot of various characters gonna be Sentry. No Game of Thrones characters, because in the coinless universe, I'm gonna keep it condensed to just characters that exist around the time that we exist. The Game of Thrones universe is a whole thing in itself. Like, Flawless Military is a lot like Kingdom Hearts. In fact, that's why Organization 13 is the Flawless Military, essentially, because the foundation of my original story was a Kingdom Hearts story. So, more or less, that's what's going on there. But now, Trini and Zack see them. And Adam and Aisha are there too. Like, they're the other ninjas that's with them and whatnot. But they all see Billy and Tommy getting arrested. And they want to help out because, you know, Zack and Trini felt like, you know, they let Billy down. Like, Billy sacrificed his life to protect Trini. And, you know, they miss him. They miss him, and they see him again. And it's just like seeing a ghost. And they want to save him at all costs. And Saba has been telling them that there's going to be a multi, like, in the comic books, Saba basically says that there's going to be ranges that's coming. But in this universe, Saba is going to talk about the dimensions merging time and time again, and there's going to be other ranges coming. So there's going to be two prophecies. There's going to be the dimensions merging, because I want to have the Flawless Military looming in the background in the future as the Shattered Grid is going on. So that's going to be there as well. But he's going to explain that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Tommy, Billy, and them are going to pull up and basically, you know, like, save the day. And they got to wait for that time to come, essentially. So that's what they're going to do. Now, like I said, I have other projects planned, and my Flawless Military project still goes on. Now, without Flawless Military, there is no Shattered Grid Redux, period. Because that's when I first started making these videos, that's what I wanted to make. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do at first, because, like I said, I'm a fan of a lot of things: Kingdom Hearts, Game of Thrones, Power Rangers, various things I'm a fan of. And my Flawless Military, the way I originally had the story, Power Ranger stuff was definitely in it, but it was a lot of Kingdom Hearts. There's a lot of intergalactic battles going on. So basically now, since they hacked the morphing grid, now in the future, more or less, the galactic crash outs are preparing for something real big. Because in the last episode, Psycho Yellow was recruiting Fuwa Juzo from the coinless universe. There might be monsters from the coinless universe appearing in the Flawless universe. So it's a possibility that might happen. But basically, the Harbingers of Doom, half of them got smoked because Madara Uchiha decided, hey, if y'all gonna kill all of the Power Rangers, who are the main villains of those teams? Who are the main villains responsible for the ones getting killed? We're just gonna get rid of them. Now the thing is, like, they did that, and most of them, the truth is, there's a lot of dead weight that I needed to kill off, because there's a lot of newer villains that I want to use, because there's a lot of Kamen Rider villains and villains that I just want to make up in general. And like a lot of the Power Ranger villains that we have of old, I can still use some of them. That's why Astronomer, Trakina, Rita, Zed, Lothar, Vinjex, Void Queen, Void Knight. There's still a good chunk of them around, but I had to get rid of a couple of these guys, bro. Just like I had to do the same with the Power Rangers, the Neo Sublime, just everything that came after Samurai. I had to do the same. Just the same karma. The same thing that happens to the Rangers is going to happen to your villains too. Now, like I said, the villains that I chose to get rid of in my Flawless Universe episode 5, from now on, it will be known as Flawless Universe, not Flawless Military. The reason why is because Flawless Universe just fits more on the tongue. I feel like it's more in fighting than military. But basically, the first ones to go was Galvanax in them. And like I said, I can't stand Ninja Steel. So they had to go. Because I barely remember these niggas anyway, so goodbye. Divatox, that hurt me a little bit. I had to get rid of her because, like I said, I need... When I do these mass one-shotting videos where multiple people die, I always make sure I kill off a character I like. Divatox was the character that I like. I like Divatox. I love Divatox. She's one of my favorite villains, bro. If you see my video on my favorite villains, Divatox is dead on the top 10. But I had to get rid of her, just like I had to get rid of the Space Rangers too, because this is a story and it must go on. Now, Furious, that was easy, because Motor's already killed. Motor got killed in episode 4 of Flawless Military by Amon and Vagar. Vagar, he came to Winterfell with an army of monsters, and Winterfell was well protected by the Star Force Rangers and the Winterfell Rangers. And they basically, he got eaten by Vagar. So yeah, Motor got eaten by Vagar, so like, his forces basically wiped out. I had to do the same thing to Furious, so Kakuzu wiped him out. Master Vile, he needed to be wiped out as well, because he was the enemy for the Aquatar Rangers specifically. So Sasori spit the block on him, and now Sasori has a bunch of bird-themed puppets. The Machine Empire, these forgettable ass niggas. I can't stand the Machine Empire, bro. Honestly, I can't, because they're so freaking forgettable. Oh my god, I can't stand the Machine Empire. And I had to put my favorite character, Kasame, in real life. Like, you know, in real life, you know how people used to go by Naruto names and whatnot. People were like, oh, that's I'm Sasuke, I'm Naruto, I'm Itachi, whatever. In real life, people actually called me Kasame for a great period of time. Like, if you know me and you're watching this video, you probably know me as Kasame, like in real life, and like, you know, in New York scene essentially. But basically, yeah, Kasame drowned that whole planet. But go Spartan, Kasame can't drown an entire planet. This is my universe. The characters can be as powerful as I want them to be. So yes, Kasame drowned that whole water, that whole machine thing planet. And basically, Itachi got rid of Bajillionaire. Now, I'm gonna be honest. At first, when like I said, Bajillionaire grew on me, but she only grew on me due to my own effort. Like the video I made of Bajillionaire when she attacked the Cosmic Fury Rangers, I actually started to like her character a little bit more. I'm like, damn, I like you, Bajillionaire. And it hurt me to get rid of her too. I'm like, but you know, the show must go on. And the 10 Terrors, we just needed to get rid of some extra people, some extra bodies. So they're gone. And sledging them, like I said, the Dino Charge Rangers got smoked, so y'all gonna get smoked too. Obito, let's just convoy him into the sun. Cause who says Obito can't do that? And we're in outer space, and in the flawless military, since you know flawless military, the scientists basically have everything. Characters can just breathe in space. They can just breathe in space. So if you see characters in space talking and doing whatever, they can just breathe in space there because fucking with flawless military, people like fucking Rick Sanchez, Beatrice, Rogexio, they don't make it so niggas can breathe in space. But the point I'm trying to make is, now that the Akatsuki done did that, the Harbingers of Doom need to find a way to deal with the Akatsuki and deal with the flawless military. Because the Harbingers of Doom, first of all, they just came back to life. Most of them were dead during the events of like Naruto and the things that were going on in other universes and stuff like that. Because, like, you know, Astronomer died in 1997. Naruto came out in like, what, 2002? So she wouldn't have no recollection of these people. But Xehanort would. Xehanort never died because in this universe, Kingdom Hearts 3 is different. It happened and it didn't happen. Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't happen because Rogexio took over the flawless military. So Xehanort needs to achieve Kingdom Hearts in another way. In the Kingdom Hearts 3 games, he creates a war between light and darkness, and basically it's 13 darknesses versus 7 lights. He could still reenact that, but now there's so much war going on that Kingdom Hearts could manifest regardless. He doesn't matter the numeral equation of 13 or 7. He could just, it's just light versus darkness. In fact, the Power Rangers getting smoked by the Galactic Crash House and the Harbingers of Doom getting smoked by the flawless military is helping Master Xehanort's plan. And Master Xehanort already sealed Kaguya in a fucking crystal because I don't like Kaguya. Simply because I don't like her. She's sealed in a crystal. You done fucking showed up and betrayed my nigga Madara, and them fucking carried this fucking franchise on his back for 4 fucking years. For 4 fucking years. I was in college eating good at the Naruto ramen shop because of Madara. Madara was like, would you like another plate, my friend? I'm like, yes, I would love another plate, Madara. Thank you. And this bitch just shows up and stabs him in the back. Yeah, you're a crystal now. You're just a fucking conduit. I hate you. I don't even care about Boruto. I watch it passingly just so I can know what's going on and stuff like that, but basically, yeah, we got other future projects lined up. Flawless Military is basically what's going on with the Flawless Military and the Power Rangers after the events of Cosmic Fury. Now, like I said, Power Rangers Alternate is going to be tied to Flawless Military because the regular Mighty Morphin universe in the Shattered Grid, Redux, Flawless Military, and Alternate are all going to be tied together. But like I said, I tie everything together in my universe. Everything is interconnected. So when I do Alternate, like I said, they're dealing with that too, but I might do like past stories as well. Stories before the Flawless Military was born, or it's just stories that have, I just want to see what the other Rangers are doing. Like, you already touched on Justin. He's going to be part of the Wheelbreaker Rangers. There's going to be Boom Boomja. That's going to be the adaptation I do of that team. Justin's going to be the Red Ranger. He's going to lead that team. I haven't decided who I'm going to put on that team yet. Now, as like I said, Power Rangers Ultimate is going to be stories from the regular universe and the coinless universe from different tales. Because damn, I'm getting sick. The point is, there's going to be different tales going on. Mighty Morphin, I want to see what's going on because we know what's going on with Billy. I done touched on Billy Cranston so much on this channel. That's why Billy gets to say it's Morphin time in Power Rangers Redux because, in my opinion, Billy the leader now. Billy is the leader of the Power Rangers as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Jason is the leader, but in real life you said nice things about the mustache man, so you already took off the rose-tinted glasses I had for you, so I have to look for Billy for hope in real life because he's literally one of the last one. Him, Walter, Amy, I had to look for them for hope because you ruined it, Austin. You'll never suit up again. I hope you do. I hope this whatever the criminal activity you did is swept under the rug one day, or maybe you learn your lesson and you get to come back to the franchise or whatever the case may be. I would love for that to happen, but as far as I'm concerned, man, a lot of Power Rangers really ruined it for me Like I can't. It's hard for me to separate a character from the actor. It is. If I see you doing something outside of your role, I'm just going. My brain's just gonna connect the two together. Now, to a certain degree, I could do it. When it comes to Jason in the past, I could do it because he was young. They were all young. That was Mighty Morphin. Those are the ones that I grew up with. But now, why do you think Jason, Cole, Mike, and Shane are all corrupted by evil and freaking destroy all Power Rangers? Because they all did some trifling shit in real life. And I said, you know what? Art imitates life, right? Bet. Got all evil now. Fuck. But basically, I'm gonna cut it short, guys. Well, this is a long video, but all of my explanation videos are rather long. So if you like any of my content, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. If you want me to cover anything in my Power Rangers alternate or flaws, military, shag, great projects, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you and have a blessed day.